Welcome into the Pigskin Preview presented by BetMGM. Nick Roush and Adam Luckett here. We packed them up. We put them in a box. Now it's time to deliver some more locks. We were 4-2 overall last week. Luckett he got a bad number. He caught a bad number in his. That was tough to see that, Mr. Luckett.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? This is the life we've chosen, right? This is the life we've chosen, and that's gonna happen sometimes. But 2-1 week here.
Yes.
An unfortunate week in the column, but 7-3 in the column last week overall. Really, the hook kept us from 8-2.
Luckett played an under in Clemson Syracuse. It dropped a point, and that went from a winner on here to a loser on there, which is pretty crazy. That happens sometimes. For me, I think I played 6 games, and I was undefeated until the After Dark hit, and I just got obliterated. But I had the Western Kentucky onside kick cover. I had the safety cover. So you know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And, the ball bounces one way, and hopefully we get some balls to bounce our way this week, Mr. Luckett.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. Big slate, but I'm not sure if we'll have any big games, which is on brand for us.
Yeah.
So we can talk about them. But fun slate. You've got the marquee games. The 7 p.m. window is excellent. And we've got some fun, I think, noon window games too. So and a fun Friday night game on top of all of that.
Multiple 3 Friday night or 2 or 3. No, there's 3 power conference games on Friday night, which all could be pretty damn good. Before we get into all of them, though, somebody in the chat wants to know: do you got the line for X Trinity on Friday night? Big rivalry game.
I do not, but I have got some Ryder Cup selections here for us, Nick Roush.
I would say that Trinity is laying some points in that game. 9.5.
Yeah, I would say around 10. 10 makes sense.
Yeah.
I think St. X is the second best team in the state, but yeah, Trinity seems. St. X lost to Elder last week in kind of a nip and tuck game.
Yeah, they had some turnovers.
Elder's probably like the 4th or 5th best team in Ohio in that top division. They're up there. I think they might be better than Cincinnati St. X last year, but Moeller, close game.
Yeah.
Over Trinity. And I think Moeller's probably maybe 2 touchdowns better than Elder. Yeah. So 10 sounds.
I love that we got to play the
right.
transitive property with teams from another state to figure out a good line.
Right. Well, that's what you got. I mean, that's the only way to do it. I think St. X is playing good ball so far this year, but Trinity definitely on probably another tier than them to this point. Now we'll see how the season goes. But we really haven't gotten this in a few years, but it smells like a year where they're probably going to double dip and they're probably going to play twice. And the winner of that second one's going to win it all.
KSR game of the week. It's our first time making it the game of the week. Been all over, but have somehow missed the biggest rivalry up until this weekend. So that's a big one. Over at Don't Call Me Papa John's, 8 o'clock Friday night. Zach Gagan will be there for KSR. But we're going to be – you can't find that line over at BetMGM, but you can find lines for pretty much everything and anything else. Ryder Cup is starting tomorrow. We'll be listening to that on our way to South Carolina. There's Friday night games. Look, we get to listen to my Steelers over in Dublin on the way home. I know you're fired up for some Aaron Rodgers football against the Vikings on Sunday morning. I'm riding with Mike Tomlin as an underdog. And I found the stats on BetMGM. 62% as an underdog. They're 2.5-point dogs against the Vikings. So I'm fired it up for it all. And, make sure you get in on the action with BetMGM. They got bonus tokens too, where you can just, I can get an extra 10% profit boost here. Don't mind if I do a little parlay action. Sure. Why the heck not? You can do it all with BetMGM. And here's the best part. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets with our first bet offer. So download the BetMGM app, deposit at least $10, place your first wager on any game. If it doesn't win, you can get all that money back on bonus bets. Whether it's $10, $100, $150, or up to $1,500, you can get it back in bonus bets. If that bet loses, just Use the bonus code ON3 when you sign up. Make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary with BetMGM. Mr. Luckett, we had the non-conference games in Labor Day weekend to kick things off. Now, for the final weekend of September, we're getting the first big round of conference games. Let's start with the whiteout, where I can't bet on this game at all. You couldn't force me to, because we don't really know anything about either Oregon or Penn State. They've played a lot of nothing burgers to this point. I know there's Big Game James that sort of has a little bit of reputation that follows him, but also it is a big whiteout game against two of the best teams in the country. I just don't, because this when Drew Aller becomes the Drew Aller that you want him to be, because he's been good, but can he be great in one of these moments? That's what it feels like for me in this contest.
Yeah, I think like you look at some of the trends in this game, they're very, very interesting. Dan Lanning, Nick, this is only his second time as being a road dog since he's been at Oregon. And that last one, there was a classic, the Washington game, right? A couple years ago, Penix versus Bo Nix.
Yeah.
They went for it on fourth down. Remember, he got criticized for how he kind of handled that, but they ended up losing by 3, and it was kind of right on the number.
Yep.
The big thing with Penn State is like they're not good in these games, but they're never a favorite in these games. They're always a dog. Like I think people just think Franklin loses all these games he should lose. But to me, in reality, he just loses to better teams.
Yeah.
So right now, I get it. Just depends on your perception, I think, of what who is the better team in this spot. It's a big spot for both teams. The cross country thing is a real deal.
Yeah.
Like it's a real thing that the records and the against the spread records weren't great. USC is like, I have it in the trends. They're like, I don't know, 0-10 in their last, games in the Eastern and Central time zone.
And they got Illinois.
They're 1-13 ATS in their last 14 games. Oregon made the trip to Northwestern recently, but it was probably the worst game they've played all year. So that's interesting. Dante Moritz's first road start really is at that stadium. So you have to think
a lot different than the 17,000 on the lake.
So I think that's something they're going to have to overcome. So it's just a fascinating game because Penn State has been good in this spot. I mean, Oregon's 11-5 against the spread versus ranked foes since 2014 on the road. So they've typically played well here. To me, it's just a total stay away. I want no part of either side because I can just see it's just a total stay away. I think it's truly kind of a coin flip type game, and it should be a good one.
Should be a good one.
And these teams played last year. I think people forget this was the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, but nobody really cared all that much because –
But Penn State went toe-to-toe with Oregon.
People forget that. I want to stay in the Big Ten because I think that Indiana travels to Iowa, and if you like playing dogs, this one's hard to avoid. And then you just look at what Indiana did a week ago, and you're like, God, I know it was at home, but like they can put up a ton of points in a hurry. They're 7.5-point favorites at Kinnick Stadium. The number that jumps out to me that I might end up jumping on is the total at 45.5. Iowa's been putting up some points, and I know that Indiana is pretty sound across the board. They're better defensively than Rutgers. But just what are the chances that Iowa scores a non-offensive touchdown? Pretty high, right? Pretty good. So, like, I feel like that total is a little on the low side because and even if it's one of those things where if you like Indiana, you feel like the over has to hit too. So, like, there's just a couple – like, I feel like unless Iowa – really just does old school Iowa football. That's the only way you can get to the under. And I don't know if Iowa can win like that this year. Like, I think they have to move the ball a little bit more effectively and score 28, 31 points to win. And that should get you to the over. So if I had to play, I would lean over. And who knows? I might end up jumping over it.
Yeah, I think the play there is the over if you're going to play one side or the other. I think a team total over might be the more interesting play there. Like if you truly believe in Indiana's offense, just play their team total over. So that would be my side there. That's it's a trickier spot for Indiana. Because their road games last year they played not very good teams on the road.
Yeah.
They played UCLA early when UCLA didn't have their stuff together. They played Northwestern was another road game, and they played another bad team. Off the top of my head, they only played 4 road games last year. One was Ohio State, and they lost that one. And the other 3, they were huge. So we haven't really seen them against, I would call a team that's on like their same level, their peer.
Well, so I was just going to say, like, speaking of it, you've got another sort of similar tier where Illinois is in a get up off the mat spot against the
USC. It's a hold your nose bet, right? Yeah.
Like that. I'm fascinated by it because it could be a great bounce back for Illinois, and they bring a lot of physicality. Is USC? Can they force Illinois to get into a shootout?
Body clock game. 9 a.m. for USC.
And it's all it's another styles make fights sort of deal. Who determines the style? It kind of feels like one that Burt gets, but it's hard to bet on them after you saw the product they put on the field and just got slobber knocked last week.
Right. Like I think Illinois' pass defense could potentially give USC some issues. We'll see how much last week was an aberration, but I worry a little bit about their run game. Like after seeing them last week, like is that a sign of things to come for them?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not able to run the ball, I think they could be in a little bit of trouble. But that's a fascinating game because I think USC has been better than expected to this point, but they struggled in these types of games.
Mm-hmm.
And so they need to win one of these. And so that's a huge game from that aspect. In Illinois, it's, hold your hell. How are you going to bet someone after they just got absolutely shellacked by a team that's probably on USC's kind of in USC's tier or right around it?
Particularly offensively.
So that's an interesting game. Illinois does have, to me, Nick, they have vibes of like severely overrated.
Yeah.
And you just look back at last year, like how many close games they won. Remember the Purdue game last year? They almost got beat by Purdue at home, and they needed like a crazy last-second comeback. They needed like a 2-minute drive to beat Rutgers. And there were all these like close games. The Michigan game was really close. There was all these close games they won. And if those go the other way and they play a more challenging schedule, because they went to Penn State last year for a whiteout game at this time in the calendar and got shellacked.
Right.
So maybe they just aren't on that level, and maybe that we see some more of the cracks this year. So I'm interested to see how the season shakes out for them because they like became a popular kind of preseason team.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I think, had to do with the bowl game, right? Like they beat an SEC team in a bowl game. Bielema makes a big deal out of the win, which he should have. They had the quarterback coming back.
Right.
So I'd be interested to see. I wouldn't be surprised if we look up and that team's like 7-5, and it was like, oh, that was the team everyone just overhyped.
Got a little too drunk on.
Not too different from the team Kentucky's playing on Saturday.
Pretty similar. They did play each other in a bowl game. One more big game, the biggest game of the week in the SEC before we get to our picks. Bama and Georgia. I don't know if it's 3 or 3 and a hook. I actually don't have BetMGM pulled up right now. I just don't know how you can bet Alabama in this spot. I don't like what made. Oh, they won last year with Ryan Williams. Like I really don't know what's Alabama's path to victory. Luckett. Ryan Williams is awesome. Like I don't know where
Georgia loses their mind when they play Alabama. They lose their mind. They are not the same team when they play against that jersey. But just
they're
aren't.
also not the same team, just period. When you see them win a shootout at Tennessee, it's like it messes with your head, and that's why I can't play Georgia either, because that's it's just like, wait, who is this? I don't know who you are. You're wearing the same jerseys, but this is not the Georgia I know. Ultimately, I think that test at Tennessee helps them more than Alabama losing at Florida State does. But who knows? Maybe this is Alabama's get right spot. I can't. There's something about I don't know. I'm not a believer in Bama. I don't think they have like Ryan Williams is awesome. I just don't know who else is their skill talent. Like what difference makers do they have offensively?
I'm starting to wonder why they let Justice Haynes, how they let him leave the building.
He's awesome.
He might rush for 2,000 yards this year for Michigan.
Don't get it.
So yeah, I see Bama being a little one-dimensional. I think Bama's pass game might be like legit, but I worry about them being one-dimensional in that stadium. Like Georgia's won all these games in a row. Mm-hmm. It honestly, Nick, feels like one Georgia wins but doesn't cover.
Yep,
just something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the line? 3.5?
If it's 3.5, you see Bama scoring a touchdown late.
Yeah, it's 23-14 or something. They get a touchdown with 48 seconds left. I would be surprised if Georgia doesn't win.
Yeah,
that football game.
Which, if you're playing a money on parlay on BetMGM, maybe juice won't be as bad as some of those other ones. That might be something worth considering.
And also, I would also be surprised if Bama gets blown out. So I'm not a fan of teasers. I think they're dumb. But teasing that makes some sense to me.
Yeah.
For Bama. So what do you get? Whatever the tease number is. I don't even know.
7 or something. You get them at, You
get them over the key number, over the 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good about this week's picks too, Mr. Luckett. And I'm starting on Friday night. We're going on a road trip. I got to have some action on the Friday night game. And like I said, we have a couple of them. But the one that's the most enticing one to me is Arizona State is at home hosting a top 25 TCU team, where the way that Josh Hoover and that offense looked in week 1 and then how they performed last week in that rivalry game, I think you're asking a lot all right, you get this emotional rivalry win. It's the last one for the Iron Skillet for the foreseeable future. It's a big win for Sonny Dykes, one that he desperately wanted. And now you got to go on the road and play a style of team that they can beat you in multiple ways. Like that's what I really like about Arizona State. And even though they lost that Mississippi State game, like that last drive, they just turned around and handed the ball off a bunch of times in a row. But also Sam Levitt, pretty damn good quarterback, and was able to outduel a very good Baylor team with a potent passing attack of Sawyer Robertson. So, like, Arizona State has seen this before. They're at home, and, every week I got to check out the Luckett college football trends. And this week we got a great one for this game. Arizona State 6-2 is a home favorite under Dillingham, and TCU 3-7-1 ATS as a road dog since 21. So give me the Sun Devils. Forks up. You let me down in Starkville, you're not going to let me down twice, right? Right.
Yeah, I will probably be on that with you on Friday night. It's lining up well, I think, for Arizona State here.
I kind of want to buy the hook just because that, you like getting that field goal insurance. But if it's a push, it's a push. So be it. We're not cowards here. We're going to lay the 3 and take the Sun Devils at home for who knows what state of mind I'll be in at the end of that game. So let's give them hell. Forks up. Luckett, who's your first pick?
Yeah, I bet you could have predicted this would show up on mine. I'm taking Pitt plus 4.5. There's some weird vibes with this Louisville team right now for people that aren't paying close attention.
Do you see what they said? He said on his call-in show last night? Colin Lacey.
About the leadership or something?
Colin Lacey's doing stuff in the backfield at running back. Like, dude, you got all these backs. I thought it was the best backfield in America, and you're putting your slot back there? I don't know. They had the injury stuff before last week's game.
There's just some stuff going on over there. Like, we're going to find out more about it, I think, in the next few weeks. But I'm hearing some stuff that's going on over there. Nick, both these teams are very similar. I think they both have fun QBs.
Yep.
who are kind of like have some YOLO in them, right?
Yeah.
Two good play callers in this game. Pitt
Mhm.
offensive coordinator Cade Bell is a young guy who's like a fast riser, spread offense. They both have really fun running backs. Like Isaac Brown and Desmond Reed might be the two most fun running backs in college football. Super explosive. Both teams have offensive line issues, and both teams have fronts that can wreck a game and just totally flip it. So this game, I think it could be the most entertaining of the day. I think we could have
noon window action too.
I think we could have defensive touchdowns. I think we're going to have busted coverage, multiple busted coverages. We're going to have explosive play touchdowns, all of this. Braum has not been bad as a road favorite since he's gotten to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
He's 1-5. The only cover was Kentucky last year when that Kentucky team just had totally thrown in the towel.
Yeah.
Right. Some of his bad losses, right? Pittsburgh a couple years ago, Stanford last year. They do not play well when they're laying points on the road. Pitt 10-5 in their last 15 as a home dog under Narduzzi. I love this spot for Pitt. Coming off a loss. And last year, they went to Louisville and got boat raced. They tried to play Eli Holstein, their quarterback, but he couldn't go. Holstein's healthy. I really like this spot for Pitt. I like this spot catching points, so I'm going to take the Panthers. I think they've got a really good chance to win this game outright, and I don't think Louisville's going to blow them out here. So I think it's going to be you're looking at a close game. Potentially like both teams in the 30s type game, but I like Pitt here catching 4.5 at home.
You're awfully convincing, Mr. Luckett. The 4.5 is a weird number, but I love it in another game, and it's in the Big 12. This was a team I considered playing last week, part of your trends, but I was like, I've already got a bunch of bets. I can't make this one. Well, Kansas went out and beat the crap out of West Virginia. I love this offense, and I also just couldn't believe that they were only 4.5 point favorites over Scott Satterfield. I mean, Cincinnati has scored against nobodies, but we saw them against Nebraska. They couldn't run the ball. Like they didn't like that was a close game. And after watching Nebraska for a couple weeks, like I don't like if Kansas played Nebraska, I would probably take Kansas in that game. SP Plus has Kansas by 10, and they're only a 4.5 point favorite. So like just give me the Jayhawks, man. Like I'm not trying to overthink this. I just saw that line and I'm like, Jalen Daniels against Scott Satterfield just got to beat it by 5? Yes. Don't overthink it. Just take the Jayhawks, fade Scott Satterfield, Kansas minus 4.5.
It's a huge game for Cincinnati, Nick. They really need a big win. Kansas is low-key rolling. They've been really good in that stadium to this point in the season. Leipold's been very good as a home favorite at Kansas, even back to Buffalo. He's good as a home favorite. Satterfield's not good as a road dog.
Yeah.
This one, I'll probably be on this one with you as well.
Well, look at us. It
just makes sense to lay the points here with Kansas.
Yeah. So let's do it. Let's ride. Who you got for your second pick, Mr. Luckett?
Yeah, big game in the SEC, going to the Grove. You know, the old 3:30 CBS, but it's really 3:30 ABC kickoff. I'm going to lay the small number with Ole Miss at home. Ole Miss minus 1.5. Home. This has been a back and forth series, Nick. The home team has won 5 in a row. Home team 7-4 against the spread over the last 11. It's also been an over series. LSU can't score. Like they have major offensive issues. I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up. I think LSU's defense will keep them in the game, and it'll be a close game throughout. But it feels like this one almost feels like to me they've got to hold that Ole Miss offense 24 points or less. That's going to be really hard to do in that stadium. I think if this was in Death Valley, I think LSU would win it. But in that stadium, I think it's just going to be hard to keep that Ole Miss offense down. And I just think LSU's offense, it's gonna feel like a game when they had Les Miles, where it's just like, can you just not score? Why can't you score? Just score. Like, can we just score? We're going to win this game. Just like get it 2 touchdowns. But they're not going to be able to do it. I'd like Ole Miss to win outright and cover this number.
They're sticking with Trinidad Chambliss. I think that's the right idea.
I don't think it matters. I mean, they just got to – it's a lane curve almost.
But, I mean, he's been awesome, and he gives you a little bit something more with his legs, particularly against this pass rush. To your point about the LSU offense, though, Ole Miss has been better than I expected. I don't think their defense is some sort of juggernaut, though.
It is not. But LSU cannot run the football.
That much is true. I did go shopping around. Found Barryon Brown 80 plus receiving yards at plus 240, plus 250, something like that. We've seen Barryon at Ole Miss. He gets 80 yards. He finds a way. He makes some big plays. And that ultimately might be why Ole Miss fans are sweating it out, is you see Barryon Brown running down the field again, and you're like, can we get this guy the hell out of here? So I'm gonna found a little juicy prop there, and I'm gonna let it ride and see if Barryon can put up big numbers at Vaught Hemingway again. For my final pick, though, it's a game we've talked about a lot this week, so I'm not going to hammer the point home a lot more. If you want to hear more, 11 personnel. We talked about it for 45 minutes plus last night. Just give me the under at South Carolina. Like, I don't – it would take some – which both teams are capable of, right? Because we've seen Kentucky they basically gave their offense touchdown against Ole Miss and then a touchdown against Eastern Michigan with early interceptions in those games. And we know that South Carolina Swain's got 3 punt return touchdowns so far this year. They got a good pass rush against a redshirt freshman quarterback. I think you would have to have a lot of that happen for us to get to that number. So give me the under. Kentucky, South Carolina. I got it at 45.5, and then it's shrinking. I hit it again. I think I might have got it at 46.5 and then at 45.5. So get it now before it's gone. So I'm invested. I'm invested in the under in this game. It's going to be a slobber knocker.
The under is 9-1. Last 10 in this series. I think it hasn't gone over that number. If you take out the COVID game, Nick, I think since 2014.
Yeah, when it
2015. 2015 was 26-22.
Right.
So you're looking at almost a decade of these teams play slugfest.
Yeah.
It's the first one to 17 wins. I think this matchup will play out similar. Just bottom line, you've got a South Carolina team scored 6 offensive touchdowns in 4 games, has not scored more than 2 offensive touchdowns in a game yet.
Yeah.
You've got a Kentucky offense that hasn't scored 2 or more offensive touchdowns in its last 10 power conference games.
Yeah. I mean, you got to play the under.
You got to play the under. It's almost a principal play.
Yeah, you got to. You absolutely have to. Well, okay, who do you have to play for your third and final pick?
I'm very well aware that Virginia Tech might be the worst power conference team in college football. But I am playing them here. Plus 10. I have seen NC State. I have watched this defense. They should not be laying double digits against anyone. So I am going to bet on the interim coach bump here in Raleigh. CW kickoff. Hell yes, I'm betting on the CW kickoff game. Give me the Hokies. Plus 10 at Carter Finley Stadium. NC State can score. I'm very well aware, but I think Virginia Tech will be able to score enough against that defense. This is the same defense that let East Carolina back in the game. It's the same defense that let Wake Forest hang around. It's the same defense that Duke absolutely obliterated.
Oh, yeah.
NC State's got a fun offense, but their defense is an issue. They should not be laying double digits. Principal play. Give me the Hokies plus 10.
The Duke game, too, it was kind of close back and forth in the second half. NC State's defense was just threw in the towel. You could see something similar, but in reverse, where maybe NC State builds up kind of a big lead, and then the defense lets its guard down, and Virginia Tech, Kyron Jones and co. sneak a couple tutties in there. So you can't quit Virginia Tech. You can't.
Not going to do it. We're back on them. The offense came to life a little bit. We'll see. I bet on the interim coach bump here, but it's principle. I just don't think NC State. They've won games by 7, 4, 10, and then lost by 12. Like, what makes us think like all of a sudden they're going to blow somebody out? Refuse to believe it, Nick. So give me the Hokies.
Who you giving us in the Ryder Cup, Mr. Luckett? I have not done any deep diving in. I know you're going to have more picks on KSR Plus and on KS Board, but who we got in the Ryder Cup? I need to look at the pairings.
There's not really. They haven't released them yet. Like, that's going to be something day of you're going to have to bet.
Okay.
But so that's unfortunate. But Like if you think US is going to win, don't lay the juice. To win, they're going to need Scotty Scheffler to play well. Just take him to be the leading point scorer, 5-1.
You can make a bet on Scotty Scheffler at 5-1. I don't think you can do that for him to win a tournament.
5-1 to be the leading point scorer this weekend. So give me Scotty 5-1. Cameron Young, Nick, is a bomber. He's making his first Ryder Cup appearance. He's from New York, where this tournament is being played.
Love a hometown guy. The Ryder
Top
Cup.
rookie, plus 275. Cameron Young. This course is kind of made for him, his style of play. I like him to be the top rookie point scorer, plus 275. Mentioned this is a Bombers course. I like Rory, top European scorer, plus 350. He plays well, typically, in these Ryder Cups. So Fleetwood's another one with a good track record. If you want to look at him in matchups for the Europeans, he'll be someone to keep an eye on. The Xander Cantlay team, I like to bet on typically in this event. Cantlay's been a really good Ryder Cup player. So that's going to be something I'm going to be watching over the weekend. So that is my picks. Now, if you want Team USA, like I think they're going to win. It's like minus 160, minus 175. So you have to lay a price, but if they're going to win, Scotty's going to play well. So I like the 5-1. You know, take a little risk there because they're going to win. I think Scotty's going to play well. 5-1 to lead all point scores. Just back the best player, and you're getting good odds there on him.
I like this too. We've got somebody in the chat. Final weekend at Churchill Downs. Keeneland Open next weekend. Funny Bunny at 12-1 in race 5 tonight. Will Twilight Racing? Love that.
And when we're driving back and we probably get to the Tennessee line and Bryson's going in singles against Rory, I'm betting Bryson there. That thing's getting hammered. I don't know if there's much logic behind it or if it's even a good idea, but I'm putting my hard-earned American dollars on Bryson versus Rory in singles on Sunday. You can take that to the bank.
Love it. We're taking them all to the bank. We appreciate you joining us this week. Best of luck wagering with BetMGM this weekend. Let's cash some tickets. We'll see you in Columbia. He's Adam Luckett, and I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats.